So my kids and wife are in the house, and my beautiful little daughter is sleeping right over there. So let's see if I can make this video before they come back, or she wakes up. So in the land of fiat currency, you must be the Marquis de Carabas to succeed. And the reason for this is that fiat currency is not money. Money is a store of value. Fiat currency is a medium of exchange. If you have a store of value, then that value will hold value over time. If your money is backed by gold, it's money now, it's money tomorrow, it's money in 100 years. That means I can hold my money and I can say, you know what? I'm holding this and I'm waiting for an opportunity. An opportunity to do what? To increase value, because money is a store of value, not a medium of exchange. This means that I'm constantly looking for ways to increase value. Because we have fiat currency, the fiat currency is not a store of value, and therefore it is constantly decreasing in value. So you're encouraged to exchange it. So, and the currency is not backed by anything other than speculation. And speculation is based on what has already happened. So prices are set based on what they assume people will be able to afford in order to continue to pay the interest on the loans that they're using to sustain the business, rather than the price being made as low as possible in order to appeal to the most number of people so that they can increase value. It's all about increasing exchange, not increasing value, because the money isn't money, it's currency, it's not value, it's a medium of exchange. So therefore, in a society where you have actual money, which is a store of actual value, people want to create more value. I'd say, I think that there's a way to get more gold out of the ground. Okay, so we're going to invest into this. And there's a lot of thought about exactly how we're going to get this return and everything. And we're not really worried about the time frame because, again, the money is going to be money today, money tomorrow, money in 100 years. We're interested in specifically how to create the most value. But in a fiat currency system, the money represents debt. It's not money, it's currency. And therefore, I have to pay on debt. Everyone's in debt to everyone else. Debt becomes the medium of exchange. Oh, my little kitty. Debt becomes the medium of exchange. And therefore, I'll be a little quieter, I guess. Debt becomes the medium of exchange. So therefore, what matters is my ability to continuously pay on debt. And a system of fiat currency inevitably ends with everyone being in debt to everyone else, and everyone constantly making payments to everyone else. So because everyone is in debt to everyone else and constantly making payments to everyone else, oh, my little kitty cat. Because everyone's constantly in debt and making payments to everyone else, everyone's in a state of insecurity because you have to pay taxes on your house, so you don't really own it. You're renting your house, but you're renting your house for currency that's constantly losing value. So it literally creates a despotic system where all the value is going to flow to one individual or one group. Oh, my little kitty. I'll go comfort her outside the car. So all the currency is going to flow to one individual. So what matters is not your ability to create value, because again, fiat currency assumes that value is not created, only exchanged. What matters is, oh, my little kitty cats, my kitty cat, my kitty cat. Fiat currency is merely exchanged, so therefore it becomes a zero-sum game. Fiat currency actually assumes a zero-sum game because it assumes that things will stay the same. I mean, after all, how else could you simply define the dollar as a dollar? And then, it's like the currency is defined as the currency. It has value because people believe it has value. And this is why it's Oriental in its nature, because the fundamental belief of the Orient is that there's nothing new under the sun. It is simply remixes of other things. That's kind of how the Orient works. But basically, in a system of fiat currency, I originally thought that what mattered was my ability to demonstrate competency. But no one actually cares if you're competent, because competency isn't rewarded. What's rewarded is nepotistic behavior that caters to basically whoever the despot is. So basically, you can think about it as like they're not trying to mine more gold, because you don't need more gold to create more money, because it's not money, it's currency. So again, why invest in mining equipment? You only invest in mining equipment if you want to get gold to make electronics. But all these things are disincentivized in a fiat system, because you don't create currency by creating value. You create currency by fractional reserve banking, which basically means you simply convince people to work for this shit. That's all that creates currency, is convincing people to work for currency. And because convincing people to work for currency becomes the means of creating currency, we effectively have a system of slavery. So if you're trying to convince people that you're competent and not rich, they just assume you're a slave, because only a slave isn't rich. Because if you're not rich, if you don't have a bunch of slaves working for you, then you must be a slave, because in the fiat currency system, there's only slaves and slave masters. There's only those who give out the fiat currency, and there's those who work for the fiat currency, because there's no value. It's all speculation on what you need to do to keep your slaves working. So in this system, you gain... She's really hungry. You have a bottle? So in this system, essentially... Girls, get in the car. So in this system, if you want to get ahead, you have to be the Marquis de Carabas. You have to act like a cat. That's why Puss in Boots is so important. His father gives him a cat, because cats just strut around, even though they're just cats. You know, a house cat could be king of the world. And by acting that way, everyone's in such a fear-conditioned state that they simply assume that whoever is not acting out of fear must be king. And so simply by acting that way, you get to become king. And that's even why the giant ends up transforming himself into a mouse. Because he's like, I'm not a slave. I can transform myself into anything. I'm the giant. He's not thinking. Because he doesn't have to think, because he's the despot. The despot doesn't have to think. The despot is just the despot who postures. And the cat simply convinces the despot that the true posture is to assume the form of a mouse, and then eats him. And then his master, the Marquis de Carabas, becomes the king of the land, because he just acted like the king, and no one else thought to act that way, because it was essentially beaten out of them because they're slaves. Comment below if I've made a logical error.